Welcome to the Life of Being podcast, where we talk about all things life from a healthcare perspective all around the world. I'm your host, Kelly Tan, and in each episode, we'll explore stories, science, and wisdom to help you live well, think deeper, and express life fully. Let's begin. Today, we're excited to have Philippa Wilmot joining us from the UK. Philippa is a chiropractor, speaker, and founder of ChiroVisibility, a community that helps chiropractors authentically grow their online presence and connect with people they love to serve. She runs a family practice with a special interest in pediatrics and pregnancy, teaches pregnancy care for the Royal College of Chiropractors, and was recently awarded the Women in Chiropractic Impact Award. Through her work, she is passionate about helping chiropractors find their voice so more people can better understand and access chiropractic care. Philippa, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's so lovely to be here. It's lovely to meet you.
Lovely to connect with you, and I'm excited to dive into your story. Shall we start by you sharing your story in terms of how you got into chiropractic, your journey towards teaching pregnancy care in the RCC, and also you establishing ChiroVisibility? What is it, and what is it that you do?
Yeah, of course. So let's go right from the beginning. So I had a mega fall when I was about 8 years old, directly onto my back, onto concrete, off a climbing frame at school. And I really injured myself. And I was a ballet dancer. I'd done ballet since I was about 3. And I carried on dancing through because that's what you do. So that was great for my body. And I did that for about 7 years. And my dad took me to see a chiropractor, a local chiropractor, someone he'd seen for years. And she was the most beautiful human. She was so welcoming, made you feel really safe. And as she was adjusting me, I didn't know what she was doing. I'll be completely honest. I was completely trusting of her. And it was the lightest, gentlest touch. It was a real beautiful tonal technique. And I went home. I genuinely believed she'd done nothing. I laid down and I slept for 15 hours. Now, Kelly, I'd never slept for 15 hours. I was a baby, never slept. I was a very wired child. So I slept 15 hours and I woke up, and I believe that transformed my life. From the age of 15, I wanted to be a chiropractor. But because I got in my own way and I didn't believe I could, I read a lot of things around it that suggested I needed to be taller or cleverer or a lot of other different things. I didn't go down that road to start with, and I became a sports therapist and a lecturer for about 10 years. Then I went back to university, 27, and at 32, I graduated as a chiropractor. Got there in the end. So yeah, from falling in love with it at 15, I got there at 32. So that was that little journey. Wow. Sometimes you just have to not give up, don't you? Don't give up. And it was what I was meant to do. And I do also believe truly it was the way I was meant to do it. I don't believe that was an accident, because it's definitely brought me different things. Shortly after I graduated, I got married. And then a couple of years after that, I had my first child. He was a breechling. He was a cesarean baby. He was tricky birth, tricky recovery, and a tricky time that we had to start with. And because I'm not one just to sit with that and not look for answers, I started training in pregnancy care. I started training in pediatrics. I started learning. So from when I was about a year old, I started my training. And I haven't really given up with that. I've really delved deeply into it. I work quite locally with different departments. And I went to the maternity centre a couple of days ago to chat with them. So I love pregnancy care, and in 2021 I launched a podcast called Let's Talk About Pelvic Girdle Pain, which was all about the pain in pregnancy that people didn't know was, essentially we can do something about. There's loads we can do about it. We'd obviously love to see people when they're not in pain in pregnancy, but this is another reason to come in, and it wasn't being shared widely. The research isn't overly supportive of it, so the NHS and the departments didn't know what we could do. So I decided my way to change that was to launch a podcast. It was on the basis I was frustrated with the situation that happened where somebody wasn't told the care that she could have got, and then she was forced into an induction, which she did actually decline, but she wasn't given the choice. Then she came to see me. I adjusted her. She walked out like a new person, and I was like, you could have had that 8 weeks ago if they'd told you. So that was my inspiration for running the podcast. And in doing that, I had to learn about online visibility and how to share our story with the world in the way that works for us. These all merge together, Kelly, don't they? And so I started training, did all the online courses, which in 2021 there was hundreds of, because lockdown meant everybody went online. So I got to learn loads. But what I realized really quickly was a lot of what I was being taught doesn't work for chiropractors, because I'm in the UK and I'm limited by what I can say. I can't share a lot of the things that I might be able to share otherwise. So I have that as a limitation, but also we're service-based businesses, so I don't really want my content going massively viral. I want to find my local people. So I learned, as I was learning how to do all online visibility, I learned about visibility, I learned about social media, I learned about how to market stuff online. I learned the way we do it is quite unique. And then in 2022, I had an idea between Christmas and New Year, when, no one knows what day it is in the UK and everyone's full of cheese. I decided that They are. It's the way it is, Kelly. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it is in the UK. I decided that I knew how to teach this stuff. And I decided in the moment, and it was very spur of the moment because I'm very good at getting my own way. No, getting good at getting in my own way, not my own way. But if I didn't do it now, it was going to be never. So I decided that new year I was going to launch ChiroVisibility. I had at least, I think it was 10 or 12 chiropractors, friends of mine, colleagues that I've worked with for a little while who came on board immediately and just have cheered me on all the way, and they've really become part of it. And for the last 3.5 years, I've been running that as a membership. We've run courses. This year we're doing a live event. We've done a retreat where we actually brought in photographers and got people in front of cameras because that's super hard. And yeah, I've really loved it. It's been a whole journey.
That's amazing, yeah. Before I delve deeper into like how can chiropractors increase their visibility and their social presence, I'd like to know when you're age 27, what actually pushed you to actually like, hey, now's the time to study chiropractic? Was there any significant things?
Do you know, there was. I worked at a college called Sparsholt College. It's a beautiful big campus, and I'd been teaching sport and exercise science, physiology, sports injuries for about 5 years at this point. And they're these two voice coaches, Carrie and David Grant. They're quite well known. And the college had brought them in for a big event, and we'd had this wonderful thing in a marquee with beautiful food and stories being told. And one of the things they delved down in was, why do you do what you do? You know, how, like, what's the heart of what you want to do? And I finished that day and I get to my boss and I went, yeah, I don't want to be a teacher anymore. And he was like, okay, well, that wasn't the plan for the day. And I said, I want to be a chiropractor. And I said, and I figured out how I can do this, and I can still work a bit here, and I can do that. And I dedicated the next 5 years to training as a chiropractor. And he did actually support it. So I managed to still teach a bit while working and training and balance both of those two things and just have fun doing it. Because honestly, some Saturday mornings, I did it in mixed mode in the UK. So you do a lot of stuff at the weekends as well. So I remember one Saturday morning, like at 9 o'clock in the morning, being in front of this wonderful lecturer who was teaching anatomy and physiology. I think he was deep in anatomy at this point. And I was learning all the muscles and looking at how they all connected and worked together. And I knew a fair bit about it already. But I remember sitting there and thinking how lucky I am to be here, to get to do this. So it was definitely the right way for me. But yeah, that was the catalyst, was these two people coming in and saying, why do you do what you do? And me going, I'm on the wrong path.
Yeah, and you actually reflecting on it, because some people are just like not even listening over there, but you're actually reflecting on it and like, hey, that actually pivots you to a whole different direction. You're many years into the practice and still having this passion in chiropractic. About 50% of the graduates quit the profession within the first 5 years of the practice. Some of them, they don't even know what is the big idea. So what is it that you know that they don't and you like to share with them?
Oh, so that is an amazing question. So I think that I've been incredibly lucky in my journey. In my second year of uni, I remember really clearly being told that chiropractors turn around and fire inwards and chiropractors eat their young. You may have heard these statements, huh? It's not true. It's not. I know that there are areas where there may be challenges and there's some people there may be conflicts. We've got so much passion in us. But I found my people in about 2018, I think. That was the first time I went to CE. And I met you at CE, I think. And CE, I never knew there could be so much passion in one room. I never knew there could be so much magic. As I was sat there listening to all these beautiful speakers coming up and sharing their story, this wonderful woman stepped up called Kelly McLaughlin, who you might know. If you don't know her, you should definitely interview her. She's amazing.
I just spoke with her yesterday, so she's just before you, the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
You see? That sounds like the most aligned thing ever. You see, alignment, it's always there. I heard her speak and she came up on the stage, and you know how she speaks, how passionate she is. And in 2018, I was very heavily pregnant with my third child. She's a bonus baby. She was not in the plan. She made the whole new plan. And I was trying to figure out how I walk down this journey, how I do this with 3 kids, because it's even more of a juggle than it normally is. And my husband's in the Navy, so he's away a load. So I listened to Kelly step up and speak so beautifully, so connectedly about what it isn't just to be a chiropractor, but be a chiropractor and a mum and a parent, and make all these things work and dovetail so beautifully together that I knew in that moment I could do it. I'm very lucky because she's become a friend of mine, and she's one of those people that her saying that, her sharing that, and there's circles of chiropractors out there, there's groups of people out there that when you hear them speak, when you spend time with them, if you have even lost a little bit of that passion, they will reignite it with you, and you can just fire each other up because it's such a beautiful, connected dream job to work in that it seems a real shame to have people who are leaving the profession never having found that spark. So I was lucky. And I was 8 years in practice when I went to see for the first time. So I was late to the party, but I got there. So I reckon my passion for it's bigger now than it ever was before.
It's very important to find the right tribe in your community, isn't it? And that brings to the question to being visible, social presence. Because if people don't know you, people don't know about chiropractic. So like, what is one key difference you see in practices who has a good social presence versus the one that doesn't?
Now we've got to define a good social presence. So it depends whether you think of a social presence as being loads and loads of posts or the social presence as being very real and connected. Because my big thing about how we develop in chiropractic is what Dr. Brad Glacki said at CE last year was trust and safety. Trust and safety, these two things are the two things we are trying to find and connect and build with the people before they walk through our door. And so for me, a good social media presence is one where the people show up, where they're real, authentic, not playing games, not AI generated. I want to see people's faces. I want to hear people's voices, and I want their values to come through on that social media, because I post actually very little in the grand scheme of somebody who teaches this stuff. I post very little, but my posts generate trust, and they bring in a reasonable amount of people each time I post, because I know how to work that. And that comes from the beginning, the groundwork, how you set your intention, how you set up everything that you do, and how you show up. And it's not easy, because if you're not used to being on camera, if you're not used to speaking to your people or to do anything like that, it's a really hard thing to get visible in the first place, to be willing to do that. It can feel really vulnerable. So all of those things I think that are important, and they're going to be different as well. I don't want 100 similar accounts. I want people to show up for them, because I believe there is a chiropractor out there for every person. I might not be that person for every person, and I know that. And I trust that, but I also trust that there will be somebody in my area who will be. And if I can see them and make sure that everybody's getting the right matching with the right people, then everybody gets a better experience of chiropractic, and we lift the profession and each other up. And I love that.
Is there any like routine or any work that you do in yourself before you start creating contents or like speaking in front of camera? Is there any routine that you do, or is just you being authentically you and just showing up and just speak?
I mean, you've got some great questions. Is there a routine? No, not a specific one. I can record something in 2 minutes, or I can take 50 takes. There is no rhyme or reason sometimes. But the one thing I will do is I will try and imagine behind the little dot when you're looking at your phone, if you're doing it on your phone, because your phone's got pretty good cameras now.
Yes.
If you look at the camera and you're looking directly down it, I want you to imagine you're speaking to that one person who needs to hear what you have to say. And it might be somebody you already know and already have met. And it might be somebody you haven't met yet. It might be the person you're imagining behind there, that person, your dream person coming through. And I imagine I'm speaking to one person. And I trust that one person will hear my message. And hopefully it's more than one. But mostly, I feel that way they know that you care about them as individuals. It's not contrived what I do. It's not generally overthought. It probably should be better thought out. But genuinely, my best posts have been the most real, from the heart posts.
That's the one that builds trust and safety, isn't it? Because you're being...
I believe so.
Yeah. You've spoken quite a few times through your journey towards where you were and where you are now. You said that you're good in getting in your own way. So what do you do when you have that mind, more like imposter syndrome? How do you overcome that? And what is that constant mindset that you want to be in so that you can continue going up, overcoming challenges?
Yeah, I think that imposter syndrome is one of those things that when you experience it, have you ever had it?
Probably, yeah. Everyone probably has it, I think.
Yeah, I think the majority of people at some point have found some blockage or something. I feel like it's something that's really knocked me off my feet when I'm in flow, especially. And it can be when you're at the height and when you're feeling that you're at the peak of stuff, as well as when you feel like you're not getting there at all. I think imposter syndrome is very good at making us think we're not good enough. Or actually what imposter syndrome really does is it makes you think that other people will realise that somehow you're a fraud and you don't really deserve to be here. And that's how I feel about it. And the way that I overcome it is that I imagine those people in front of me again, like who needs to hear this on this day. And I'm really lucky because I've released a podcast just recently. I've relaunched my podcast, ChiroVisibility the podcast, and most days I'll get a little voice note from a friend of mine saying, oh, this spoke to me today and I'm doing this now. And I've just seen my other friend Ellen, who's off for a walk listening to the podcast, and it's just this will be the same like with your podcast. Like this is the cool thing. You don't realize how far reaching what you say. I think we know this quote will affect the lives of billions tomorrow. We don't realize that. No one knows that. So if you don't say the thing that's in your heart, if you don't say the thing you want to share, if Kelly had not got up on that stage and shared her complete truth about how she works and how it works for her, then I would never have known there was a different way of doing something. If she hadn't braved getting visible, I would never have known. So I get out of my own way by going, there's at least one person today that needs to hear this. So I can share it because I can share it for them.
So whenever you're thinking about that one person behind the little black dot and the phone, is there someone, that one person that always keeps you inspired and passionate in what you do? Is there a specific person or is it just in general?
I couldn't tell you there's one person because there are so many people who've been part of my journey so far. I think there's a lot. And I'm very good with imagination now. I'm very good at imagining that person who hasn't met you yet. I'm good at going, who needs to hear this? And even actually sometimes talking back to myself as in my younger years and going, I would have done so well if I'd have heard this 10 years ago, 5 years ago, when I had kids. Like, my journey wasn't an easy one. If I can make somebody else's journey a little bit easier, then I will. If I can give them an option, a choice of another way, then I will. So I think my imagination's got pretty good, Kelly. So you can be really brave. If you really know who you're speaking to, put a photo on there and put a photo just in front of that little dot. So you don't end up focusing on, I focus on my face. That's part of my biggest problem. I try not to look at my face and I'm like, my hair's doing this thing. And then you start to over-focus, don't you? So if I put something over the screen, I can't see that, which means I don't tend to over-focus. I focus on the person instead, which is the important thing.
And with that said, what would be one advice you'd give to your younger self?
You are enough. That's what I would say. You are enough. Just keep going. I think I was very lucky to have a very good chiropractor I worked with when I very first started. And one of the practice members that I got to work with then, I don't know how much you believe in this, but she's psychic. And she said, right now you're quiet, but one day you're going to be so busy that you won't be able to see everybody who wants to see you. And you go, okay, I will get there. And I think I held on to that probably because at the time I may have given up. When my very early days, I might have given up. But I think knowing that you are enough, and truthfully, we're all lucky to be here. But the harder we work, the luckier we get. So I will still kind of work to take another step forwards every day and just keep going because, God, it gets really good.
You create your own luck, isn't it? In a way.
Yeah, I think so.
Also.
I think so. Yeah.
You have 3 kids, you say? You mentioned? 3?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
How old are they now?
I have got Sebi, he's 14. I've got the middle one who's 11. And I've got my youngest, my daughter, she is 7 years old. And she wants to be a chiropractor one day.
Oh, so the youngest one has decided?
She has this idea. She's walking along one day to school. We're walking into school and she said to me, Mummy, I'm going to be a chiropractor one day. And I said, that's amazing. You're going to have the best time. You're going to meet the greatest people. You've got the best job in the world. And you're going to get to learn so much at university. And she said, but Mummy, I know most of it already. That's Chiro Kids for you.
She's being sassy, hey?
I think she genuinely believes it. But the thing is that she's been adjusted since she was teeny tiny. So from her experience of chiropractic compared to my experience of chiropractic, it's 2 really different things. And she's going to go so far. I know she will. And she'll just love it.
Well, she'll be standing on a shoulder of giants. Because of you, she's going to impact more people. And you never know.
Oh, because of lots of people. Yeah, she's got so many people she's going to get to meet as well. And I mean, all the people that we've ever been inspired by and spoken to. And luckily now I know that the world is a kind one, and actually that in chiropractic there are some beautiful circles out there that you get to connect with, and hopefully I get to show her that. Yeah,
she will in time. She'll be in this podcast too.
yeah, she will. I can't wait. It's be great.
What did motherhood taught you, or has changed your perspective?
Oh, motherhood flipped me on my head. I don't know. It completely turned me around. I don't think anyone can prepare you for being a mother. I don't think anyone can prepare you for loving in like something quite so much and having your heart moving around independently out of your body. It's like, and one of the things I say to people a lot is that every time you have another child, I felt like I grew another heart. Like there is so much love in that. But it made me think about health very differently. It made me question, well, I don't think I did before. Not really. So I questioned a lot more. I've learned to trust my gut. Trust your gut. That's a really good thing. It's hard sometimes when you're going up against other people or you're having different opinions or different conversations. My third was born at home. I wanted all 3 of mine to be born at home, but my first was a breechling and I chose a cesarean, and my middle one was a hospital birth because I didn't fight hard enough for a home birth, which I regret. My third was born at home, and I was 41, so she was born what they call out of guidance, which is a higher risk birth. I was incredibly well supported. I knew it was all going to be okay. And she was actually born about 2 minutes before the midwife got there. And it was my midwife that got to walk in as well. So not only was it a midwife that got there just after she was born, but it was my midwife that knew me and knew how I worked and was just grinning from ear to ear because she knew that she wasn't going to be a boy, which I thought she wasn't going to be. And it was the greatest experience. So I think that's what changed me. And it's made me fight harder. It's made me, my friend Destiny, who makes beautiful bracelets. I've got a bear bracelet, like a mama bear. She also a chiropractor, many people know her. But she is, it does make you fight. It makes you fight harder than you otherwise fight. Fight for your kids in a way, I think, that sometimes you wouldn't fight for yourself. So it's made me a bit tougher. Yeah, the mama bear came out.
What will be the difference you've seen when you've given home birth and the other one that was hospitalized in a way?
I think everything else is very similar. I think that the start is very different. I didn't do well with Sebby's birth. So my eldest, he's 14 now, and he was born by cesarean. He was a breechling. But because my body doesn't respond to medication the way like it says you're meant to, and I know that, and I didn't know that quite so well then, but I definitely know that now. So my anaesthetic wore off partway through the surgery. I had a great team. They were amazing. But no matter what, I had to go on to general anaesthetic. That hits you harder. Then you come round and you're just coming round as they hand you a baby and go, there you go, feed them. And you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. And of course, where he hadn't gone through the birth canal, there was an awful lot of shifting in his body that hadn't happened. And reflexes that he still had. Our start wasn't the easiest one. Compare that to my daughter's birth, which was a home birth. And I'm not saying home is better or worse. I believe you should birth where you feel safest. But I do feel that for me, I feel safest at home. She was born, I was on the sofa at my house with my people. I got to shower in my space. I got to sit and cuddle. It's a very different experience because our community matters. Whereas in hospital, you can't have people around half the time. My husband was away anyway. He was there at the birth, but he had to go away shortly after because of the Navy. And so I didn't have that support, and that support is invaluable. Like having people around you is incredible. And my recovery from Isabel's birth compared to Sebby's was like chalk and cheese. 2 days later, I was walking up and around, hanging, seeing my friends, felt fit, and I felt like a goddess, genuinely felt like a goddess. I felt powerful. So yeah, for me, it was completely different. They've been raised very similarly because I think when you have your first, I think you kind of make choices, and then you learn a little bit, I reckon. I learned a little bit with Sebby, and then I reapplied that to my other two as well. They're very cuddly kiddos. They love being at home. We love hanging out. Part of the reason I choose to work the way I do is because I like to spend a lot of time with them. I like to pick them up from school. So yeah, I work as a solo doc now, and I work at home. I've got a basement practice basically in our house, family-based practice. So it's an active choice because it meant that I got to see my kids loads, and I've had to spend time with them growing up too. So that's really cool. So yeah, it's all good.
You get to witness them growing, isn't it? Because in the blink of an eye, they're gonna be.
Oh, it's so true. My eldest is 14, and honestly, I can kind of see him driving and disappearing, and I'm like, my goodness, this has been it. Like, how did I have more time with you? Yeah, so quick. It is a blink of an eye, genuinely. It is, but it's precious time.
What will be one key value you'd like to instill into them?
I think if I could instill, I don't know if you can instill anything into children, but if I could encourage them to be a certain way, it would be kind. Always lead with kindness, because you don't know what anyone else is going through on any given day. So if you can be kind, then you don't go too far wrong.
What will be one message you'd like to share to pregnant moms or like female or women in general?
Find your village. Find your village. It takes a village to raise a child. And we've lost that in the UK. I think we've lost that sense of community, a sense of connectedness. We weren't designed to do this alone. We were designed to do this together. We are connected by nature. I've got so many groups of friends, mostly women friends, but some men too, that just look out for and look after each other. And even if you have differences in opinions, even if you do things in slightly different ways, just having people that you can be with, sit down with, be in the same space with, and share some of the hardships and the joys, that makes a massive difference. So in pregnancy, I think one of the things I would love us to do a bit more is to find that village, build the village, because that would be really precious.
It literally takes a village to build a baby, isn't it? Yeah.
Every time.
How and where can people find that then? If like their immediate surrounding is not like-minded, like where do you think that they should reach out to and find?
It's really hard actually. There are some various groups online which help support that sort of local meeting. I actually found a sort of more natural parenting group, a local one here. I actually found it after my eldest was born, and I wish I'd found it before, but I found a natural parenting group. Lots of them are still my friends 14, 15 years later. In fact, a lot of us collect and support other people together as part of the informed newborn, pregnancy, birth and beyond group. There's a group that we have. So we try and support each other. It's hard to find though, antenatal groups that maybe, there's a good place to start with antenatal groups, but sometimes they can be quite medical leaning. I was the only person in my antenatal group, in my first one anyway, that wanted a home birth. And it was well supported by the person leading it. It wasn't well supported by the other people in the group, which is interesting. So it is not an easy thing to do, Kelly. And I think we need to start maybe building those communities. And actually maybe as chiropractors who have got our own practices, maybe we could be leading the way on that. Maybe we could be facilitating or supporting others to facilitate those groups building together, so that when you've got pregnant women, we're supporting them and directing them together. They've got their village and they're building their village from the beginning. Yeah, I think we can do that.
I think if you're listening to this, and one great way will be reaching out to yourself, isn't it? So at least you can direct, if you're in the UK, if you're local, that's perfect. Or even if you're international, you can always, build a group, an online community, isn't it? I think that's the best way.
I think so, yeah, definitely.
With that said, where would be the best place to find yourself then, Philippa?
Probably on Instagram, boringly, at ChiroVisibility, spelled ChiroVisibility, so at ChiroVisibility. You can find me, reach out. I love the DM. I love people chatting to me. I love people asking questions. You can listen to the podcast. I've got a new newsletter I've popped out, which is like a weekly little update. It's called the memo because I wanted it to be short and sweet, which just gives people a little bit about what we do as well. But yeah, reach out. I love hearing from people.
That's perfect. And we'll leave all your information into the description below. And we're coming towards the end of the episode. I know we just started speaking about things and getting excited. If you have a billboard message where everyone can read about it, what would it say?
A billboard message? About what? About chiropractic?
Anything in general. Life, chiropractic.
Anything at all. Trust yourself. Trust your gut. You've got this. Yeah. I wish everybody knew how strong they are and how great they are and how brilliant they've got. They've got so many things inside you, you don't even know. And I wish people knew how incredibly powerful, brilliant and strong they were. We should be brought up with those messages going in. So yeah, if I had a billboard message, I can't even say it. Billboard.
No one uses it anymore, actually. So when I have discussion, it's like, what?
It's all screens now, isn't it? I would definitely be sharing that so people knew every day how great they are.
Before we wrap up the episode, is there anything that you wish people ask you more of? Is there anything you'd like to share that I didn't ask you?
No. The only thing I want people to do more of is connect with each other. Just chat to each other, find your people. Chiropractic's the best idea I know of. It's an amazing thing. We are so lucky to be here, but we are all open to chatting. We're all inboxes are open. I've never had anybody turn me away. I set up something recently for my friend Tona, who lost her husband a couple of years back, and he's also a chiropractor. He was also a chiropractor, and she reached out. Well, actually, I asked her what I could do, and she said, "Can we set up a platform for future chiropractors and we call it the Octagon Circle?" So that's the name of this practice. Yes. And I have asked amazing pediatric chiropractors, pregnancy chiropractors from all over the world if they would come and speak for free for the Octagon Circle. Not one said no, Kelly. Not one. Every single person was so wonderful and so happy to be there. And you think, I can't ask these people because they're such a big name and they're so amazing. Every single person was so humble and so brilliant. So everybody you could ever think of, just ask the question, reach out, speak to them. Anything you want to know, ask it, because I promise you, we're all very happy to share, and those people will share with you because there is so much love in the world.
Yes, that goes the same as you. I reached out to you and you said yes immediately. And really, really thankful for your time in sharing your story and experience with us. And we look forward to speaking with you again in the future.
Oh, thank you so much, Kelly. It's been a pleasure.
And we will see everyone in the next episode, and take care of yourself. Thank you for tuning in to the Life of Being podcast. Let us know what is your one key takeaway from this episode. And if this conversation inspired you, share it with a friend who might find it helpful today. Until next time, take care of your health and take care of your being.